Hey everybody, this is Jimmy Lemke, Panther U. I am. I want to type, but typing is kind of difficult right now, and I guess I should explain what happened this week, um, because it's why I have not been typing very much the last couple of days on Panther U. Although I did get a couple paragraphs in. I've gotten a little bit better at typing, but not great at it. So yeah, it's a little hard to type right now. Um, my two fingers are pretty messed up on my right hand, and not so. Just so you don't think I'm burying the lead, my hand is broken. So so yeah, great deal. And here's the story. Yesterday morning, Monday morning, I took my wife to work, got ready for work, and at about 20 to 8, I was taking the dog out along with the recyclables to go and, um, just take them over to the garbage. I work right about 8 o'clock. So, about 22, I was over by the dumpsters at the end of our building, and someone in the next building over decided to let their dog out on the back patio at their place. Um, People take their dogs out all the time in our complex. I was also taking my dog out as well that time. The difference would be that I had Luna on a leash, and they did not have their dog on a leash. Our all of our townhouses in the two buildings that we have are side by side, and everybody has their own private entrance in the front, private patio in the back. As private as you can get with like the openness. We've got partitions in between all of our patios, so you can get some privacy, but not a lot, and you're not really like there's no stopping. So basically, what happened was this my dog's about 35 pounds. This other dog was about 50 to 60 pounds. Um, the owner cracked open the door or something to let the dog out to go pee real quick, and by the time I saw the dog, it came around that partition and bull rushed and tackled my dog and was um, not playing. My dog was getting attacked in a pretty um, very aggressive way. She was getting she was tackled, and at that moment, I was already down on my hands and knees where they were, because my dog had been about 5 to 10 feet away from me, and this dog hit her so bad that the hard that they came right almost to my feet. So I went down on the ground and was wrestling with this other dog, which was a very, very powerful dog. I don't know what kind of dog it was. It was a mix of some kind, light brown. Um, I've known a dog that looks like it, but that was like a mastiff mix that was like a lot larger than this dog, so it wasn't that dog. But yeah, so they have. So my dog got tackled, and I had to get down and on the ground and save my dog's life. So I wrestled with it and was trying my best to rip this other dog's jaws off of my dog as my dog's yelping and freaking out and trying to get away. And I get the dog loose, and as soon as I try to get to my dog or get in between, this dog's already back on Luna. I'm trying again. This dog, and I get off. The dog's already back on Luna, and basically what ends up happening in about 30 to 40 seconds of time, the owner came outside. She got her dog, or she tried to get her dog. Her dog did make another lunge and bite hard on Luna's face and like yanked at her face, and my dog's face was like this far away from her. was pretty bad. So she got the dog and started pulling away, and I was only concern for mine. And I looked down and I realized that I was bleeding a lot from my fingers. So if you check that out, that's pretty. Well, let's turn this down a bit. You can kind of see how like torn up that finger is. This one's got some pretty hefty bite marks in there as well. Nothing like. It was painful, but I did not care about very much for my own well-being at the moment. My entire concern was for Luna. So I grabbed her and our recycling bin that I had already emptied out and walked back to our place. Got stopped a couple times because people had seen what happened and were concerned. And I took her in and I washed off my wound. My hand was really bothering me, so I figured my finger must have been dislocated because I could see, like, you can see like the knuckles in the hand, and I couldn't see my third knuckle, so I was like, oh great, this dog dislocated my fucking finger too. And so I cleaned up as best I could, kind of wrapped it in like paper towels, and I started driving towards the urgent care on 68th and Edgerton. I did not. I was about 2 or 3 blocks away from my house when I realized I probably shouldn't be driving because I could barely touch the wheel. So instead, I drove the 6 blocks to my in-laws' house and had my mother-in-law get ready and take me to the. She got ready and took me over to urgent care. The first thing they did was, they just examined me. I wasn't in a lot of pain. I haven't been in a ton of pain like most of the time. They had the X-rays done, and when they got the X-rays back on my left hand, they decided not to do X-rays on the right hand because the fingers. It looks like mostly surface, like surface lacerations they call it. So it wasn't too bad. It's painful if I touch them in the wrong spot, but my fingers are fine. For me, the left hand was, it hurt, but it wasn't like crazy because whatever. So they had the X-ray like this, and I had to hold the hand like this, and it turned out that I broke my 4th metacarpal. I broke the bone that's in the hand from the base of the ring finger to the wrist, and I broke it clean. You guys are gonna learn a little something about me that I love Cholula. So if you use 2 Cholulas to explain, this is the wrist area. Like if this is the bottom, this is the wrist. The top, this is the fingers. The bone of my fingers like this, and it's like. So they said it was not just broken, it was also displaced. So the urgent care NP spoke with a hand specialist at Aurora, and hand specialist said split almost all the way down the arm. Don't set it. She didn't want to set it anyways, which I totally understand. Yeah. I see the hand specialist tomorrow afternoon on Waukesha. I'm in good spirits. The dog is almost entirely okay. She has a scratch under here. She has a bite mark right here. But really, she's just, I think for her, it's more like emotional, psychological damage because she doesn't want to come downstairs. we're up on the second floor, so you might see her, but I doubt it because she's curled up next to my wife right now. And then I say it and I hear her stirring. She should be okay. She's like, Luna, you okay? You good girl? That's Luna. She's a good girl. I love you. I'll put a timestamp in this so that anybody who's watching this that doesn't want the 10 minutes and change of me explaining this can skip ahead to this, the part that I'll start like right now at about 11 minutes. So, the reason I wanted to make the video is because I don't want to type out really long things. I do want to talk about what I had said yesterday in response to Buppy on the message board about on the thread titled "Our Program's Non-Conference Scheduling Philosophy." Buppy had said on the 10th that for us, if a Big East wants to give us a 2-for-1, we should consider. Otherwise, 1-for-1 with top mid-majors is the way. I agree. I agree with that, but I wasn't. I don't think that it would be. I didn't think it would particularly add to anything. Wouldn't add to the conversation. Just to give the thumbs up, and I wanted to give a little bit of an extra to it, and so I suggested this. I said, publicly invite Marquette and Madison to start rolling home-and-home series, just like they have with each other. Do it so often they have to publicly refuse, then you call them out for being chicken. Get some stones and start valuing the program as a higher level, and we will be there eventually. That was it's a little bit of something that I want us to start doing as a program, and it's not like I want us to stop talking about our level. I want us to stop talking about where we are at right now, and I want us to kind of see ourselves as better than we currently do, as a program for our history and as a program overall. The number of schools that have been to a Sweet 16 outside of the high major conferences can be counted on like 2 or 3 hands, if you're counting the last 25, 30 years. And we're one of them. When Northern Kentucky joined the conference, before they even got here, when they talked about moving to Division I, they would talk about how they wanted to go to the Horizon League to be in a conference with Milwaukee and Butler. They would invoke us just like they would invoke Butler as a reason to come to the Horizon League. And this wasn't in 2006, right after we were coming off winning in the NCAA tournament against Oklahoma. Good luck beating Kelvin Sampson. If you need any tips, we've done it before. But rather, instead, it's more of rather instead it's I totally lost my train of thought. It's been a rough couple days. It's been a rough couple days. They saw us as better than we see ourselves, and if you go elsewhere and you talk to people that know who we are, generally their opinion of us is better than our opinion of ourselves. I think that oftentimes, and this is really a lot like of the fans on the Freeport, like the real big fans of our program. A lot of us look at our program as as being something that could be great, but is almost never living up anywhere near up to expectations. And a lot of where I was coming from in trying to get people to support like the Jeter tenure was to kind of temper the expectations of what's your finish as much as are you winning games and are you doing somewhat well. And yeah, no, we were never winning as much as any of us would like to, but it is what it is, and you have to support what you have. So the good thing for us now is that we have something pretty great going on, right? We have, Coach Lundy came in and set up a culture and a standard that is already paying dividends for us as a program. It couldn't come at a better time since it looks like they're starting practice in the practice facility, if not right now, in the very, very, very near future. We have good things going on around our program. And with that, I want people to start puffing out our chest. If not like literally puffing out our chest, but being proud of Milwaukee and being proud to be, who we are and where we are and what we can be. Again, it's for this place, a lot of it's all potential to be in a large university that has at times had a Big Ten size enrollment and hopefully will again soon, to having being a tier R1 research university, which is globally important on the research front, to being a school that's so important to the city of Milwaukee and the region that we're in a lot of ways one of the biggest economic drivers of southeastern Wisconsin, and the basketball program is the front for that. It's the our alma mater is a lot better than we often give it credit for ourselves. And so when I say publicly invite Matt Marquette and Madison, the first thing you should think of is that that's what Bruce Pearl used to do, right? And we would play Madison, but it was on Madison's terms. And I think it was X-Town who mentioned it later in one of his just the one guy who can talk me out, like bore me to death. But he did mention that after Dick Bennett left and Bo Ryan came in, that the series with Madison changed for the worse for us, and he's not wrong. And I used to act like when I wanted to, when we talk about like the Marquette, like restarting the Marquette series, or when it was on or afterwards, and I talk about, I think I mentioned doing do a home and home, like at the time it was, let's just, not the thing that we get it, but using it as a negotiation tactic, where they'll say, "Oh, we'll play 4-for-1," and we say we play home and home, and they'll say, "Well, what about 3-for-1?" and we say maybe 2-for-1, and maybe you meet somewhere in the middle. That was my idea years and years ago. At this point, with age and experience, when I say that I want to publicly invite Marquette and Madison to start series with us and make it rolling home and home. So if you're not familiar with home and home, you play at our house one year and your house the next year, then our house, your house, our house, your house, our horse, your house. So I think I said horse in one of those. So the idea is that you are playing an equitable series. Now, I am not saying this on the expectation that any series is going to happen, let alone a home and home series. That's not the aim that I'm going for at this point. The point that I'm going for now in 2023 when we haven't played Marquette for about a decade. We haven't played Madison for, I think they played last year. Did PBJ play them? I can't remember. We lost, I know that. But we haven't played Madison every year for almost 10 years, or 7 or 8 years, or whatever it was. And we haven't played Marquette besides that one series that started in 07-08. And I don't think either of those things are a real problem for us as a program. Why I say we should start those series is to get it in the minds of people. Number one, for our people, and when I say publicly invited, I'm talking about Coach Lundy. When Coach Lundy is out in the, when Coach Lundy's out on the radio, when he's out on TV, when he's out doing whatever public appearance, if somebody talks about it, because it's eventually going to come up, he should say, yeah, we should play there. We got an open date at our house this year. We'd love to come there next year, or if they want to come here next year and we'll go there this year, whatever. Instead of, I think in a lot of ways, Bruce Pearl's, in the few clips I would hear of him talking about it, or the news clips where it was talking about where he would like mention it, I think it was often like a derisive kind of thing. I wouldn't do that at first. And the reasoning would be what I was just saying, hey, well, yeah, we should totally start a home series. And the first thing that will automatically bring out is you're talking about the Big Ten and the Big East versus the Horizon League. And, I wouldn't begin to parse words and say, well, the Big Ten's a better conference than the Big East, so why are they playing home and home? I wouldn't put it like that. As much as I totally just said that to piss off X-Town. But really, like, it's just using conference is kind of it's kind of ridiculous. Madison and Marquette have both played home and homes with schools that are not quite at that level or whatever, at whatever level they're at. It's a ridiculous, arbitrary thing to say, oh, well, this is a high major and this is a mid-major, so therefore this team gets this. Everybody has to make their own decisions based on their own program. And that's why I don't expect a series to ever work. X-Town has said it many, many times. A lot of Marquette fans have said it. A lot of Badger fans have said it. And it's true. It does not benefit them to play us, especially if it means them coming to our house. So I get the idea that doing a series, especially a home-and-home series, or even like a 2-for-1 as a non-starter with Marquette and Madison, because they value their program much higher. And that's what I want us to start doing. Say what you want about how Madison is this much higher than whatever. Before Dick Bennett took them to the Final Four, they weren't any better than we were just because they were in the fucking Big Ten. That's just not the case for much of what, I mean, I'm sure if we were to pick out eras before Al McGuire and in the intervening years, the pre-Crean Dwayne Wade years, or the last couple years with Crean where Milwaukee was a better program, there are times where we have a better basketball team on the court. Tom Crean made sure that he did not sign a contract playing us in games until he saw that we sucked, right? And that's part of the thing. He valued his program on a level where he did not want to. He valued his program on a level where he did not want Marquette to come down to our level and play on an even keel. And even when he did sign it, when we were coming off a 9-22 season, he did it was a 4-for-1. And believe they ended up buying out the last game of the contract, but I don't have the numbers in front of me. But you saw what happened when Buzz was coach and they came to the arena. They almost lost. And the Badgers have had a couple close shaves at the arena. They've also blown us out a few times at the arena, but they've had a couple close shaves, more than they probably like. And it's in a lot of ways it's a no-win situation for Madison or Marquette. But I'm not a Marquette or Badger fan. I'm a Panther fan, and I value my program better than a 4-for-1 when the home team wins 74% of the time in college basketball. And that's really what it is, right? It has nothing to do with money. They can say, oh, we want to play more home. The Badgers will go on the road in the non-conference. Marquette will go on the road in the non-conference. Neither of them play a lot of games in the non-conference on the road, and I'm sure that there's a reason for that. 74% of the home team wins a college basketball game, and that's kind of what I want to bring up. Is I want it to be a thing where, you know, Coach Lundy is a charismatic guy. He's the most charismatic coach we've had since Bruce Pearl, especially on a speaking to an audience level, or having a one-on-one conversation with an audience in the background. Jeter was very good with the one-on-one conversation, and I just don't know if he's the kind of he was never the kind of guy that was like that. The casual fan, like, damn, I want to follow that guy. I want to go watch his team play, and that's kind of how Lundy has been this year. You can't listen to him and not get excited for the program and the future of the program. So I could trust him to be able to spin this a little bit, in that, we would love to play Marquette or Madison. We have open dates this fall at Panther Arena. We'd be more than happy to accommodate them if they prefer to come here next year, and we can go to the Kohl Center or the Forum this year. Whatever we can do to make it work, and lightly just act like it's not even like a thing about mid-major versus high major, or program Marquette that's probably at its peak since Dwayne Wade was in school, and Madison is having a little bit of wavering, but it's still a Big Ten team, and now they're at the point, now Madison's at the point of the program where NIT is a bad year. That was not the case for the Badgers for most of their history. Most of their history, and NIT is a pretty good thing. It's the last 20 years, and I would say really the last 15, 10, where, maybe it's, nobody would talk about Bo Ryan going to the NIT and, hey, let's fire him. There's plenty of fire guard check going on from the Badger fans, is my point. But they're both, their programs are at higher statures, and I understand that, and that's totally fine. And if it means that we never end up playing, that's fine too. But get Coach Lundy out there, and it never is the point of whatever interview. If it's I just think it's something where the smart radio guy, if he's on what's left of 1250, if he's talking to Sparky for an interview, Sparky is a smart guy. He's going to say, hey, what about playing Marquette and the Badgers? You going to get those series restarted? And that's when you drop we got some open dates this year. If they'd like to come here, we can go there next year. Be coy about it. Just act like it's not even a thing. And, dollars to donuts, somebody like Sparky's going to they are they're in the Big Ten, they're in the Big East, and the Horizon League, and say, oh yeah, I guess from their point it makes sense, but we have to do what's best for us as a program. So we're happy to do a 50-50 split if they really want us to, make things easier for them because they're afraid of coming out of their house. And you don't even have to say the afraid thing, Just if they want to play a lot of their, if they want to play all of their non-conference games at home, I get it. Just whatever you can do, and I trust that Coach Lundy can speak like that. I know that I would probably stumble over it and screw up and end up taunting them, but there's a way to talk about it where you are not, where instead of devaluing our program, you are adding value to our program as far as perception, and two, make a sly hint that it's really them that don't want to play this series. We'll play this series, but it doesn't make sense for us to commit to all these road games. I mean, that's really what it should be, right? Marquette and Madison are great programs. I wish them the best of luck in the NIT for Madison, and Marquette's a 2 seed in the NCAA. This is a big opportunity for them. It's still very early in Shaka's career at Marquette, and that's exciting. Marquette's a basketball school. It's Milwaukee. It's one thing that I've, you'd see it more on Twitter than you would on the board, but one thing that I try to do is I try and loop us all together, and by us I mean all of the hoops in the city of Milwaukee. I do believe that Milwaukee can kind of present itself as a capital of basketball right now, because Marquette is performing very well, and Milwaukee is resurgent as a mid-major program, and maybe more one day. And we have a Giannis. It is a wonderful time to be a basketball fan in Milwaukee. If you love watching basketball and you don't care about the jerseys as much, you can go to a Bucks game one night, a Marquette game the next, and a Milwaukee Panthers game the night after, and you have excellent basketball being played in front of you. For Milwaukee Panthers, it's more if you get there at halftime. The rest of the games is better watch at halftime. So it's my idea isn't to taunt Marquette like the way that Bruce did. My reasoning for it is to put in the minds of people around that, oh hey, Milwaukee is another option. Let me check out them sometime. Holy shit, I can get a season ticket for $100? Oh my god. That's an incredible deal. This is the kind of thing I'm talking about. Like, if Milwaukee has a product which is not, when you're selling a season ticket this year, maybe Joe should watch this. If you're selling season tickets this year, you have a lot easier job than Julius had a year ago. A year ago, Julius had a new coach who was an unknown, a new roster that was almost entirely unknown except for the few holdouts from the last year of PBS. You had a ninth place a ninth place vote in the Horizon League preseason talk. And truthfully, because there was so much turnover in the Horizon League, like it is across most of college basketball with how the transfer portal is now, a lot of Milwaukee being picked ninth was that we were bad before and everything coming in was pretty unknown. It's easier when you're a high major program and if it's a high major conference to kind of judge like where the players are coming in, and it's not because people who are covering mid majors just are worse at it. It's just that we're usually looking at most of the exposure for a player who's a commit to Milwaukee or another Horizon League program is the highlight videos that they are posting themselves on YouTube. So it's less. You're, for instance, B.J. Freeman did not have a there was no there was no Midwest Ballers YouTube channel or Paradigm Hoops or whatever, what have you. The NY2LA guy's not putting together 3 mixtapes a year of B.J. Freeman. Anything that you saw B.J. Freeman was something that was put together by his high school, or maybe there was something by Dodge City. I wasn't 100% sure. But so every recruit, and a lot of recruits look great, and you just don't know when you're at that level. So your job this year for selling season tickets, Joe's job being new, there's a lot of difficulties that he has ahead of him. A lot of tough stuff, and I know they believe in him at the athletic department, and I believe in him too. I would just like him to get more support, and maybe that's something the Black and Gold Club can help with. But this is you're coming into this season where you have a coach who showed up one year in year one and won 21 plus games. You went to the postseason. You're bringing back far more of your returning scoring than the rest of the Horizon League. I think after Milwaukee, it's Wright State and maybe Northern Kentucky. And obviously, this stuff's going to change too, because we don't know if Vince Miscavige is going to be the last Panther to transfer out. We don't know that. Highly likely that he won't be. But we also have the CBI coming up on Sunday, so there's players who probably will make there might be players who maybe make a decision later next week, and maybe that'll change, or maybe all of it's opportunity. But the point is that you have a team that's coming back, that should have most of the people coming back, that won 21 plus games with a coach who is now a known factor. So the job of selling season tickets is easier. And now Coach Lundy is more of a known person around Milwaukee. It's going to be easier for him to get out there and talk up the program. And I think that by using what I'm saying, by doing this public invitation to Madison or Marquette, and saying, hey, we'd love to play them. We got open spots on our schedule. We'd love to come there next year, and then come here this year, or we can go there this year and come back here next year. You just it's easier to put in people's heads that Milwaukee is a program that they should pay attention to. The casual basketball fan. And I know that a lot of people knew this over the course of the year, because I had people coming into the body shop saying over the course of the season, where I wear a Panther hat most of the time when I'm most of the time I'm wearing a Panther hat as a winter hat when I'm going outside to look at cars, and a lot of people people would be like, oh dude, they're really good this year. Oh, you guys got that new coaches there. How are they? Have you gone to games? Are you going to go to this game? The best was the Monday of the Green Bay home game, and all day I think I had 5 or 6 people mention it, and I didn't even have the hat that day, but I had the Pounds bobblehead on my desk, and they're like, dude, UWM's really good. You gonna go to the game tonight? Yeah. Sucks that we really screwed the pooch on those, but it's an exciting time to be a Panther, and I just want us to get out of this notion that this is a Horizon League program forever, or that this is just a mid-major forever. I want us to get out of the idea that Coach Lundy is this magician who's just going, he's going to take care of everything. It can't be that way. It can't. we have to talk up our own program to other people because we want more people to show up. Because whenever Coach Lundy leaves, and we hope it's on good terms and, you know, coming off a Sweet 16 or, you know, cross your fingers better. You know, if he leaves on good terms, the better our attendance is, and the more people are paying attention to our program, the more likely it is that we replace him with somebody who can continue or even eclipse what he had done with the program. And I think that was, in a lot of ways, the difficulty of moving from Pearl to Coach Jeter was that, you know, they made an effort, and I appreciated Pearl for giving them an opportunity to try and talk him into staying with you know, by offering that contract. And I think maybe the worst thing that happened for Coach Jeter was getting most of that what was aimed at Pearl, getting most of that money in the spring of 2006, because along with the higher paycheck, which at the time and was the highest paycheck until like 2008, 09, I think, or 09, 10. I think it was 09, 10, or maybe even 10, 11. It was the highest contract in the conference, and it kind of blew out the expectations. I think we know what we're looking for when it's a time for a new coach, and that's, we want somebody who's a winner at the lower levels in Division II, Division III, and probably more likely Division II, just because they have the scholarships to juggle and everything like that. So I intended to make a short video. It's impossible for me to talk for a short amount of time. Spend 10 minutes talking about my dog getting attacked and me getting my arm, my hand broken and my fingers torn apart. That reminds me that I gotta put the thing at the 10:30 mark. It's not about taunting Marquette. And when I say call them out for being chicken, I'm saying you do it playfully. And I think Pearl tried to get that across in the couple times the couple clips I've heard. I think he tried to put them, hey, we should play us. What, you're scared? You know, but clearly Tom Crean didn't take that on a. Clearly Tom Crean took that very personal, because Tom Crean's a piece of shit. He's just an asshole. I like the thing later on like, I think it was page 5 or something, when X-Town makes the assumption that the reason that Milwaukee fans were pissy was because somebody took a charge and the bench cheered. No, we took a charge because your starters were out on the floor when you were up by 30 points, and you guys are chucking shots early in the clock because you're trying to get to 100. That's not the actions of people who don't care. Those are the actions. Those are the actions on the direction of a coach who's really pissy that he was getting dragged through the mud by people for years. My parents need to stop fucking calling me. I haven't told them yet. No, I'm kidding. I guess I will talk to you guys later, and thanks for sticking through it.